Where would we be in Halloween without Art the Clown? He really does seem like quite a new player in the slasher realm. However, he's managed to make his name known very quickly through a number of pretty gory techniques, granted. But he is up there with the best. I think we can all agree on that. Not too long ago, I got talked into watching Terrifier 1 and 2, and I did. I'm not the same since, but my God, were they good movies. And in doing that, I got directed towards All Hallows Eve and kind of the origins of Art, because he didn't start in Terrifier. No, he goes back even further. So moving into spooky season this year, I decided to head back into All Hallows Eve, see what all the hype is about, and understand a little bit more about Art's origins, you know, see what's changed about him, or what they kept the same. In case you don't know, these are like separate, isolated stories, all bundled together into one beautifully gory movie. Now, Art did have his own standalone short film put out before these, however that then got worked into the story of All Hallows Eve, which I'll come on to and point out when it happens. So Art started out as a short, then made his way into All Hallows Eve, and then he stole the show and hearts so much that he made his own movies. It's a really good story, it's a real underdog tale if you think about it. That's the absolute basics and background that you need to know about Art, but let's see what All Hallows Eve is all about. We open up with Tia, brother Timmy, and the babysitter Sarah here. I think Sarah needs the extra work since she left under Mifflin.
No, it's just make-believe. Demons, witches, monsters, that doesn't exist.
They're the same picture.
Tia is just a sassy brat, and Timmy, not gonna lie, is just getting bullied hard in this intro.
Hey, I was watching that.
Sorry.
He wasn't watching that. You weren't watching that. Yes, I was.
This sibling rivalry is going to come with some serious long-term trauma for him.
Can we just bury him in the backyard and tell my parents we lost him trick-or-treating?
Little Timmy here just opens up his treats onto the carpet and a VHS falls out. It's a blank VHS, it's creepy, so Sarah sets the rules that this is not going on.
Let's watch it.
Oh, absolutely not.
Why?
Why? Because God knows what's on this, that's why.
Sarah is having none of it until the kids call a vote.
Oh, you're not watching it.
Fine, let's put it to a vote.
Of course, Timmy and Tia want to watch the very creepy and blank VHS, so they win the vote. It is amazing how quickly Sarah just loses all authority in this moment.
Fine, but you have to go in the other room. Yes. I need to see what's on it first.
She boots it up, it takes a while, and the kids get pretty impatient.
Well, what is it?
Well, give me a second.
Like, that's what's going to happen if you give a modern kid now a VHS. Like, it doesn't work the same, does it? You can't skip it. Until eventually we get some old asylum. You know, you've got the beds, the stirrups, that old thing. We move on into some tunnels and that banging just keeps on going.
This is stupid, come on.
It seems pretty tame so far, so they all just settle in for this blank VHS, because it might be good.
It's just a scary movie. Let's watch it.
It could also equally be fucking grotesque and horrible. We see Art. There he is, he's making his face known right from the get-go. And alongside him, we see some other monsters that are going to be popping up throughout this VHS. Now, this kind of short movie section of All Hallows Eve is actually the short film that Art started in. Clever move. I mean, it also saves me having to watch things twice, so I'm glad I googled that ahead of time.
Fine, but if it gets out of control, I'm turning it off.
The first main monster we focus in on is Art, of course. We see this lady settling into some kind of waiting room and she is just wanting to read her book in peace. A couple of Halloween shaggers break down the door and, wait a minute, is that the Halloween Scarecrow one from Terrifier? Is this like the prototype of her?
You got a cigarette?
No, sorry.
Our girl here washes up because apparently just talking about smoking gives her the ick. Art is here now and doing what he does best. He does look a bit different though, doesn't he, for like initial Art. He kind of looks like your everyman dressed up in that costume instead of the demon that we'll all come to know in the future. His eyes don't say danger. They say kindness. Tia and Timmy are engaged in this movie so far, like they are hooked. He's doing his horn honking thing, so those staples of Art are getting established very early on. And just like everyone else that Art annoys, this girl is having none of it.
Please stop.
We also have the bin bag, the gift, the look, the giggling and fucked up surprises. It's all here within just a couple of minutes. She gets a hit of the good stuff, and we start getting some demonic faces popping up as she's fading away. And Art has that like Scarecrow from the Batman vibe going for him. We do cut back to the babysitter and the kids quite often, so unless something changes, I'm not going to keep calling it out, because this movie is just kind of going back and forth. But trust me, we cut back to them just to see their engaged faces quite often. Like, it's the same again here. Timmy is fucking well into this movie, while Sarah is just completely regretting her career choices.
It's just a scary movie. Let's watch it.
This girl wakes up in a dark, creepy tunnel, and we see that there's 2 other girls already here. Now, she just arrived, and these 2 other professional victims are already fucking sick of her.
Someone talk to me! Please stop screaming.
She waities as well, like she's just been a terrible guest right now. She is asking the big questions though.
Where am I? What's happening? Why are you two just sitting there? Why are you trying to escape?
Why is he keeping us here? Why doesn't he just kill us already?
Why are you doing this?
After a lot of back and forth, one of the girls decides to comfort her eventually, whilst the other one is just at her absolute breaking point.
Oh, and staying here isn't? What do you know? You didn't see what happened to that girl. We did. We watched her getting dragged.
I mean, talk about a bad host. The new girl is trying to come up with a plan. You know, she's new in this situation, so she's trying to explore all avenues and find an escape route.
There's 3 of us now. If we go together, we might have a chance.
Whilst the other 2, yeah, they're having none of it. They've seen girls being dragged away already.
What do you suppose we do?
The only thing we can do is just wait here and hope that somebody finds us.
Our good girl here gets yanked away fucking hard.
We can't just wait here to see who's gonna be.
And then we get one of the most depressing pep talks you've ever heard.
But we're never gonna see them again if we don't try to get out of here.
The girls slowly head down the halls while taking baby steps over all the bones. I mean, slow and steady and all that. She finds herself a fucking big rock and hits out with this.
I think it's big enough.
I personally would say that's a very average sized rock, actually. Don't be picky. We're starting to hear some monsters groaning as well while she's trying to escape. We see the big bad, and it is definitely not Art in this tunnel. This thing looks like I always imagined Kane would when he took his mask off. Like, as a kid, I had no idea that it was just going to be some dude. Like, I was fully expecting this sort of demon-looking face. No, we just got a guy. The girl gets absolutely chopped up in some less than graphic detail, let's be honest. Kane here does the big boss maneuver of just letting him whiff an attack and run into a wall. He ends up smacking the chain so our girl gets to dip hard. The escaping girl runs into some sewer trolley collector.
Help me, please.
But uh-oh, he is also a monster. You didn't see that one coming, did you? She then wakes up surrounded by even more monsters. Like, these sewers are fucking packed. We have big teeth ones, faceless ones, birdmen, witches. The gang's all here. These gals are also at a late stage pregnancy, so you can kinda see where this movie's going to be going very soon. Yeah, it's not pleasant, is it? Our devil-looking guy takes a big swig of that tummy juice and heads on over. He's still looking a bit thirsty, mind you. And I don't know what sense. We get a quick cut back to the real world and Sarah just calls it here.
I'm turning it off. It's too violent for the 2 of you.
The arm chopping and tummy slashing stuff is fine for 10-year-olds clearly, but that's now too much for them. Sarah is now trying to be the rational one after letting them watch all this. Like,
You're too young to be watching a baby cut out of someone's stomach.
woman, you left it on. Let's be real for a minute. This is kind of on you.
Fine.
The kids get sent to bed and the babysitter gets a call from her pal. You know, the kind of standard stereotypical babysitter tropes. Although why is she being so specific here?
A videotape? Yeah, like a 1982 VHS. It's this fucked up short film with a clown and the devil raping this woman.
Wait, what? We didn't see that as an audience. Fuck me, she's a worse babysitter than I thought. The kids just continue to be shitty. Like, Timmy's ready to spit on his sister. I mean, they're really shitty kids.
No, Timmy, don't even!
All the while the babysitter is just getting those cliche standard spooks in there. She's meeting her friend for drinks when she finishes shift, only on one condition though.
Sarah,
Yeah?
don't get killed.
Funny.
Bye.
Hi.
A bit weird for her to say, wasn't it? The house gets egged, Halloween prank style. But Sarah gets fucking raging.
Little shit!
Tia is doing that every creepy girl thing and just staring into the shadows. Always unsettling to see though, isn't it? No matter how many times you see it. Timmy though, yeah, he just continues to be a dick. I swear this kid's on a sugar high or something.
You suck, Sarah.
I only have one goal today. To make one kid like me.
We check in on Tia though, and she is just scared of this video.
Do you think that clown was real?
So that was all a big tough girl act earlier. Now we're seeing that really, yeah, she's fucking terrified. She starts talking about serial killers as well. Like, these kids need therapy. There's no doubt about that.
Someone like that could really exist, right? Like a serial killer, I mean.
Sarah settles in to watch some old school movies, but that tape has intrigued her. She needs to put it back on for more. Timmy's door is creeping on open, and could it be a monster? The devil? No, it's just Tia.
What do you want?
She's needing some support tonight, and you know what? I'm on Timmy's side here.
It's my bed, I'll hog him if I want.
Sarah pops in the tape again, and we cut to another girl doing all the move into a new house tropes. You know, she's on the phone, she's hyped for the future, she's bigging up her man and his paintings.
He's good. He has his first exhibition coming up in a couple of weeks.
That was a bit specific, but you know what's happening here. She mentions a painting that her man done and the fact that he doesn't remember doing it.
According to him, he doesn't even remember painting it.
That may be relevant later. She gets spooked, something is going on, so she heads right on down to that Converse fuse box. Her signal is dead now, but there are some creepy creakies happening in here, and she is just on edge.
Fuck this.
Her man calls back eventually, and he is doing his best to calm her.
Is everything okay?
No! Something landed by the house.
What do you mean something landed?
Something landed by the house. I don't know, just a few minutes ago.
Well, I'll say his best. I mean, he's putting in some effort.
Did you call the police?
I couldn't. My phone wasn't working until you called me.
Call them, and whatever you do, stay in the house.
Okay.
He might be trying to calm her from his side, but something is clearly here. She just gets sus and moves around for, I'll be honest, quite a long time. Not much specific happens here. She just keeps giving sus looks around the house and moving in and out. But trust me, it is all worth it when there's a fucking alien monster here now. He reminds me of what's-his-face from Hellboy, like Scaly Webtoes or whatever his name was. Like, he kind of looks like him, just a little bit more technical. She just punts it in the face and books it upstairs. The alien starts slinking around the house looking for her. It's the only word I could call it. It's not walking, it's not running. He's slinking about. He has some kind of alarm thing that goes off, and it freaks her out and gets her nose bleeding. It's pretty effective. She pulls out one of his face pipes and this just like stun locks it for a minute so she can escape. She dips hard into a cupboard, and this alien monster thing just starts looking curious, as my dog does when we bring the shopping in. Now, we do have someone hiding in a cupboard, so what happens next? Of course, her phone goes off. Poor John has no idea what's going on. I've not taken my phone off vibrate for about 10 years now. But give it a 3 out of 10 for realism. She pulls back the cover to show off their Bob Ross, and it is art. Art by name, not... I mean, it is art, but it's art of art. It's the fucking clown. Back to Sarah, who's just had enough at this point. Whether she's bored or scared, it's a bit hard to tell.
Piece of shit. Why am I watching it?
And she just catches a glimpse of Timmy, but uh-oh, that is not Timmy. It moves really quickly. I did have to go back a few times and catch it on the pause. She heads on upstairs just to make sure the kids are in bed, and the three of them keep making passing comments about creepy things that are going on.
So it must have been someone else's little mischievous feet running up the stairs. You heard a noise? What kind of noise?
There's someone in there.
Nobody so far really seems that concerned. Like, they're all happy to talk about it as a 3. No one's too bothered.
Maybe we could if you'd stop checking in on us every 5 minutes.
What are you talking about?
How are there no red flags going off at this point? None whatsoever. She psychs herself up to finish the movie and we get some more. Let's get on with this movie.
How can I convince a little girl not to be scared when I can't even convince myself?
This girl here is driving through late at night and it turns out she's running on empty, so she needs to pull in and refuel the car. It's pretty quiet here, not many people are around until...
Get the fuck out of here, man! Are you out of your fucking mind?
That's right, Art is here too. He is just invading fucking everything at this point. He also now looks more like Art than the Art we know. So it makes sense now why earlier he looked quite simplistic, because that was the original short, whereas now they very quickly established how they want him to look, and they have stuck with it. He's leaving a bathroom full of 1s and 2s before he gets sent away, because of course you would send him away for that.
Seriously, you think this is funny? You think you just piss all over the place and smear your shit on the walls?
The attendant and the girl just get to talking, and they talk for quite a while again. There's moments in this movie that really do drag on just a little bit. Like, I know they're trying to build up the tension, but there's not really much happening here. Once they've finally had their sweet back and forth, we get a bang inside.
You're gonna go about 6 miles. You're gonna see a bridge.
The attendant goes to check it out, and we get our first look at Art in a killer newspaper. Because he's black and white and red all over. I don't care what you say, I'm bloody happy I got to put that one in here. She dips hard, of course, as you would, and calls the police.
Come on, you piece of shit!
Art is also now ahead of her, so man is just teleporting as well now. This movie is really establishing those abilities that he has in the Terrifier movies. Not much has changed, they fucking nailed him from the start. He keeps on moving mad, he is jumping out in all sorts. She comes across another driver and fuck me, they're not doing so well. That's what she gets for trying to activate her hands-free while she's driving. Our girl gets back in the car and leaves, and we get one of those backseat bag deaths attempted. However, she breaks free from it. Thank God we get to see somebody in a movie both rip the bag and also just slam the brakes hard. Most other movies, they're dead at this point.
It's just a scary movie.
She stumbles across some kind of garage thing. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's abandoned. That's all you need to know. She is quick to block the doors, but even quicker to think that everything is all over now. She went from that to being very calm, very, very quickly. There's some banging on the door, she holds it up and she thinks she's safe. What does Art do? Well, when you can't go through, you've got to go under, and he just starts tunneling his way into this garage. He starts crawling out right when that kettle's ready, it sounds like. He whips out his bladed chain thing, you know, his homemade implements, and he is just going to fucking town on her now. Thankfully it's the early days for Art here, and some of the pieces start falling off, so our girl, she picks up a scalpel and just gets him right in the eye. Tell you what, he did not see that coming. I swear to God, this second one is the steak knives they give out at TGI Fridays. I may or may not have one in my drawer. Sorry, TGI. Art is down and he gives our gal some time to escape and slightly stumble. She waves down a passerby and just so happens to get the most naive driver you have ever seen.
Hey, are you okay?
Of course she isn't okay, mate. Look at her. Just fucking look at her. Art seems to be unkillable though. A very brief cut back to Art and we see that he is unkillable and back on his feet. Then we return back over to the car to see what they're up to.
He's trying to kill me!
This isn't some sort of Halloween prank, is it?
This guy just is not reading the room whatsoever. Art eventually catches up and whips out his trusty gun. You know, when all else fails, the whips, the chains, the horn, just go for the gun, man. I'm sad to say that our naive driver is no more. Probably didn't even believe any of it was real, to be honest.
Halloween prank, is it?
As for the girl though, what happens with her? Well, this is where the sadistic art is really on show. I don't want to mince my words here, so let's just say that he absolutely fucking ruins her. He is taking limbs and using her as his own personal notepad. Just so happens the only things he knows how to write are cuss words. The VHS starts glitching out, but Art is not backing down from a staring contest. Someone calls into the house, Sarah goes to get it, and it is the girl that we just heard escaping Art in the VHS tape.
Who is this?
There's been a murder! The old gas station on Route 94! Send help!
It wasn't all just a VHS tape. Art is like fucking with reality now. This twist genuinely made me have to pause the movie and just go back a bit to like make sure I was picking it up right.
This isn't funny. Who is this?
Please! The killer's out here is following me!
Who's following him?
Ah, it's rewind time.
Really good fucking twist, and one I'm not gonna lie, didn't expect in All Hallows Eve of all places. Fucking top marks. Now he was already like pretty much there, like 99%, but now he looks just like the Art we know. Sarah is watching some old tunnels while Art is just making the world's creepiest screensaver sort of thing. He starts banging on the inside of the TV like he's within it. He is bending reality now with really no explanation. The VHS goes off and he is now behind her on the reflection. Still got his trusty horn though, like he has never given that up. Of all the things I've seen in Terrifier, this is the most what the fuck moment I've seen with anything to do with Art. It's not gory. It's just confusing and what the fuck is going on and what are his powers. You know, it leaves a lot of questions. She destroys the tape more than DVD ever did and hears a scream upstairs.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Art is waiting atop the stairs looking far too proud of himself before he disappears. Sarah, thinking the worst, rushes up the stairs, checks in on the room and Art has struck. She's finished her shift now, put it that way. You know what as well, fair play to this movie going as far as killing these kids. It's not pleasant, I'm not advocating for it, but a lot of movies wouldn't cross that line. Not Art here, not All Hallows Eve, Terrifier or this kind of universe. No, they'll go the extra mile. They'll kill kids. Say what you will about Art, the man doesn't discriminate. Good on him. Art mentions the wall here and we just cut over to credits. And that was All Hallows Eve. Have you seen it before or were you like me? You could have jumped in during Terrifier and you haven't quite went back to them yet. Or you might be picking them up this month for spooky season. And where do you place Art as one of these slasher villains? Do you love him? Do you hate him? Is there something about him that you just can't quite get your head around? Let me know. As for me, I personally love him. All the rest, they might have their own quirks, their own qualities, but Art is the one that you just cannot predict. And certainly with the Terrifier movies themselves, there's no telling what his lore is. They've touched on it, I'm only hoping for more lore in Terrifier 3 to bring it all together. He's a demon, isn't he? He's a devil. He's something like that. I can't quite know for sure. If you've made it this far and you haven't yet, hit a like in the video. Hell, drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this, on Art. Anything spooky at all, I'd love to see it. I do make my way through and reply to them all. Might take me a day just because I'm working, but you know what? I'm going to get to them all, don't you worry. And whilst you're down there, please do hit subscribe. It really does help out the channel, helps push it to more people, and that kind of support I really do appreciate from each and all of you. I know that is very generic sounding on YouTube, but really, I really do appreciate it. The recent boom on this channel is something I'm still getting my head around, and it's down to each of you for making that possible. So with all that being said and that little sentimental bit out the way, thank you so much for watching.